This is a flat map. There's absolutely nothing here except for this store and the selling point. And this is exactly where I'm going to spend the entire next year, starting with a small lawnmower. My goal is to build my own farm with a large railway. Today, we'll already be buying sheep and even purchasing our first locomotive. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Having arrived on the flat map, we had only one small lawn mower at our disposal. Despite its modest size, I was confident that even with such equipment, we could gradually earn the starting capital needed to build our own farm. Around us stretch endless meadows covered with dense grass. This is our first and only resource. The map contains only a few key objects: a store where we can purchase machinery and equipment, and a selling point where we will have to sell everything we produce. So I didn't waste a single minute and immediately started mowing grass, choosing a plot right next to the selling point. This decision would save time on transportation and allow us to start earning faster. Our mower is convenient in that it simultaneously cuts the grass and collects it in a special compartment. This compartment can hold up to 1,200 liters of freshly cut grass. As soon as the container was completely filled, I headed straight to the selling point and delivered the grass. For the first batch, I received only $180. Of course, the amount is small, but even it seemed encouraging to me. After all, this is only the beginning of our journey. I didn't stop and continued working, methodically mowing more and more grass areas. A little time passed, and my hard work began to pay off. The balance in our account gradually grew and soon exceeded $2,000. This was the first serious step toward fulfilling our dream of building a full-fledged, prosperous farm from scratch. I continued working without slowing down. Soon, after collecting over $8,000, I decided to take a break. We had already mowed a huge amount of grass, and now we had a fairly decent amount in our account. The money we earned should be enough to buy our very first tractor, a crucial step on the path to building a real farm. Without wasting time, I headed to the store to check the available equipment. Opening the discount section, I noticed a small tractor priced at just over $7,000. It turned out to be exactly what we needed at this early stage. Without hesitation, I bought it. Since the tractor was already in stock, I decided to also purchase a plow for it. It's essential so we can till our first field. The plow cost almost $1,000. That was enough to completely use up all the money we had earned. The entire amount we got from selling grass went into this important purchase. But now we had the equipment we needed to move forward. The next step was to decide where our first field would be located. I hired a worker who would follow us on the tractor, while I, in the meantime, got back on the lawn mower and started clearing a path to our future farm. I tried to go as far from the store as possible because I plan to set up large fields here in the future and make serious money on them. After going quite a distance, I cleared a patch of land where a full-fledged farm will eventually be built. To mark the beginning of our presence here, I set up a tent, temporary, but still my own home. By that time, the sun was already setting, and I decided that I had done enough for today. Tired, but satisfied with the results, I went to sleep, full of plans for the next day. The next day, I noticed that we had a small loan of $400. It was charged for equipment maintenance, but I think we'll be able to pay it off fairly quickly. For now, I decided to plow our first field using the new tractor. After driving a bit away from the tent, I began working. I decided to keep the field small for now, since it's still unclear whether we'll be able to manage a larger area without proper equipment. I plowed a plot of approximate length and width, leveled the edges, and And with that, the creation of our first field was complete. The main task now became repaying the existing debt. So I got back on the lawnmower and headed to the selling point, where I continued mowing grass. After just a few trips, the loan was fully repaid. After that, I started saving up money to rent a seeder, as it was time to sow the first crop on our new field. I decided not to buy a seeder, since we'd only be using it occasionally, and there's no point in paying more for something that would just sit idle. After earning a bit more than $2,000, I decided it was time to start sowing. I went to the store and began selecting a seeder suitable for us. After a short search, I found a decent option, the rental of which cost only $600. It was a very good deal, and I rented it without hesitation. In addition to the seeder, of course, we also needed seeds. I bought several bags, enough to cover our entire field. After that, I returned to the farm, detached the plow, and went back to the store to pick up the seeder. Although our tractor looks pretty compact, it handled the new seeder quite confidently, pulling it without much effort. Arriving back at the field, I began sowing. I chose oats because they currently have a good price. Besides, harvesting oats also produces straw, which can later be useful, either for selling or for use on the farm. The sowing process went fairly quickly. Our first field was fully sown, and I unloaded the leftover seeds into storage, since they were bought, not rented. After finishing the work, I returned the seeder to the store, as we no longer needed it. The sowing was complete. Now we just have to wait until the oats fully ripen. And while the field is growing, I resumed mowing and selling grass to continue increasing our budget. And when our balance already exceeded $4,000, I returned to the farm and decided to start building a silage pit. This was an important decision because it would allow us to significantly speed up the process of making money. Silage sells at a fairly good price, especially in large volumes. After carrying out the preparation work, I completed the construction and decided to take a short break. In the meantime, it started raining outside, but the rain soon stopped, and I was able to continue. I began filling the silage pit with freshly cut grass. By that time, I had managed to load about 9,000 liters. That was enough to move on to the next stage, compacting. I got into our tractor, since it weighs much more than the lawnmower, which means it would do a much better job compacting the forage. After driving over the surface several times, I achieved the desired density. When the silage was fully compacted, I covered it with a plastic sheet so the fermentation process could begin. With that, the workday came to an end, and I went to sleep, satisfied with how much I had accomplished. A few days later, our silage was fully ready. The problem was that we needed to collect and transport it somehow. So I got into the lawnmower and headed to the selling point to earn a small amount of money for buying a trailer. After earning about $4,000 more, I went to the store to see what options we had. I was also thinking about buying a mower for our tractor, so I decided to sell the old lawnmower. It brought us $8,500. As usual, I first checked the discount section, but there was nothing suitable for us at the right price. Then I went to the trailer section and found an excellent option for $3,500. I bought it right away. After that, I checked the mower section and found that we were just $41 short of buying a suitable model. It was a minor problem because I knew there was still unsold silage left on the farm. I decided to take it and use the money to buy the mower. I hurried back to the farm, got into the tractor, and headed for the trailer we had recently bought. It was standing near the store, but when I tried to hook it up, I got really upset. The rear wheels of the tractor lifted off the ground and it couldn't move. The trailer turned out to be too heavy. In the end, I had to sell our old tractor. We got almost $5,000 for it. Now it was time to choose something better. I found a great option, but it cost a little over $42,000. so I had to lease it. That wasn't the most cost-effective decision, because now we'd have to pay monthly rent, but there was no other choice. At least now, we had enough money to buy the mower, and I bought it right away. All the equipment cost us just over $10,500. It was definitely a good purchase. Now, we could not only transport silage, but also mow and sell grass much faster. Without wasting time, I got into our new tractor, hooked up the trailer, and headed to the farm to start loading the silage. Once all the silage was loaded, I went to the selling point. After selling it, we earned a little over $3,000. Not bad at all, considering we hadn't cut that much grass. Then I returned to the farm and decided to check on our oats. It was still growing, so I needed to focus on something else. I thought that producing silage was too time-consuming, so I sold the silage pit. Instead, I decided to build a sheep pen. It was already equipped with an automatic waterer, so we would only need to deliver grass from time to time, which is quite convenient. The pen itself cost us $4,000. I also bought sheep for nearly another $4,000. Thanks to them, we could regularly sell wool, and the income from it is quite high. I think the sheep will pay for themselves quickly. After that, I got back into the tractor, drove to the store to pick up the mower I had bought, and returned to the farm. The mower turned out to be quite large, so mowing the grass went very quickly. Then I hooked up the forage trailer and completely filled it with freshly cut grass. I delivered the grass to our sheep and completely filled the feeders. Since there was still some grass left in the meadow, I decided to take it to the selling point. There, I managed to earn just under $8,500. When I returned home, it was already quite late, so I went to rest. The next day, upon waking up, I noticed that our oats had ripened and it was now time to start harvesting. However, a new problem arose. We didn't yet have the necessary equipment for harvesting. I went to the store to check the prices for combines and trailers. It turned out that we needed at least $20,000 to buy a suitable combine and a trailer for transporting the harvested oats. Returning to the farm, I got back to mowing grass. I decided to earn the missing amount specifically through grass sales. Fortunately, with our new mower, this could be done quite quickly. I mowed a large area and immediately began selling the grass. After selling all the grass, our balance reached almost $25,000, which made me very happy. First, I took the forage trailer back to the farm, and then I headed to the store to finally purchase the long-awaited equipment. I purchased a combine harvester, a header for it, and also a trailer for transporting oats for sale. All of this cost us just over $21,000. Now, I just needed to attach the trailer and the header and head home. I drove the combine myself, and I had a worker drive the tractor. Even though our tractor isn't very big, it turned out to be quite fast. We got home very quickly. I immediately started harvesting. When the combine's grain tank was completely full, I unloaded the oats into the trailer. It wasn't full yet, so I continued harvesting the remaining part of the field. When there was no more room in the grain tank and the trailer was completely full, I got into the tractor and headed to the selling point. For one full load of oats, we earned just over $3,000. After that, I returned and finished harvesting the remaining crop, unloaded it and sold it as well. As a result, our balance reached just over $12,000. Not a bad sum, I must say. Evening came, and I decided to go home to rest. Over the next few days, I once again mowed and sold grass, since it was time to start building the railway. During this time, I managed to earn a decent amount. Our balance reached just over $32,000. But that wasn't all. While I was working, our sheep produced a fair amount of wool. I decided to sell it. I loaded a full trailer and took it to the selling point. For 4 pallets of wool, we earned nearly $10,000. And that wasn't all the wool. There were still several pallets left on the farm. After selling those as well, our balance reached just over $47,000. That, I thought, would be enough to build a railway from the store to our farm. I immediately got to work, carefully laid the tracks, and then built a shed for the future locomotive. Finally, I purchased the locomotive itself. It cost $20,000. It may not be the most powerful one, but it's good enough to start with. I got into it and decided to test our work. I drove the locomotive to the farm. Everything worked perfectly. The only thing missing now was a wagon for the necessary tasks. But I think we'll fix that soon. For now, it's time to get some rest. If you enjoyed this video, just subscribe to the channel and leave a like. See you next time.